Skimming is the technique that allows you to quickly read through a text and pick out the main ideas. This is a useful skill when you need to get an overview of a new text or when you are looking for specific information. Scanning. Scanning is a technique that allows you to quickly read through a text and find specific information. This is a useful skill when you need to find specific information in the text. Intensive reading is a technique that allows you to read a text slowly and carefully in order to understand all the details and points in that text. Then the extensive reading, that is the speed reading, is a technique that allows you to read a text quickly. This is useful skill when you need to read a lot of information in a short amount of time. Then the another point is the purpose of reading. Reading of an activity with a purpose. A person may read in order to gain information or verify existing knowledge. A person may also read for enjoyment or to enhance knowledge of the language being read. Reading also plays an important role in civic life. Through reading, the individual keeps informed on the political, social, economical and cultural problems of his country. Reading affects our attitudes, beliefs, standards, morals, judgment and general behavior. It shapes our thinking and our action. The purpose of reading is to correlate the ideas of the text to what you have already known. The reader must understand about the subject that he or she read to connect the ideas. Reading to search for simple information is a common reading ability, though some researchers see it as relatively independent cognitive purpose. It is used so often in reading task that is probably best seen as type of the reading ability. Reading to skim quickly. Reading to skim quickly is a common part of many reading tasks and useful skill in its own right. It involves, in essence, a combination of strategies of guessing where important might be in the text and then using basic reading comprehension skill on those segments of the text until general idea is formed. Reading to learn from text. Reading to learn typically occurs in academic and professional context in which a person needs to learn a considerable amount of information from a text. It requires abilities to remember main ideas, recognize and build rhetorical frames and links and the text to the reader base. Reading to integrate information. Reading to integrate information requires additional decision about relative importance of complementary, mutually supporting or conflicting information, likely restructuring and of a rhetorical frame to accommodate information from multiple sources. Then reading to write and reading to critique text may be task variants of reading to integrate information. Both requires abilities to compose, select and critique information from text. Reading for general comprehension, when accomplished by a skilled fluent reader, requires very rapid and automatic processing of words. Strong skills in forming very rapid and automatic process. Then the purpose of reading are not only for students but also the people in the general. They must read extensively to get information and knowledge of social living. It can help a person keeps informed on the social, political and economical problems of his country. Then the another 2 points, facial expressions. The eyes and face are especially helpful means of communication non-verbally. They can reveal hidden emotions including anger, confusion, enthusiasm, fear, joy, surprise, uncertainty and others. They can also contradict verbal statements because it was embraced. A new employee answered yes when asked by the supervisor if he understood his instruction, yet the supervisor should have noticed that employees bewildered expression and hesitant voice and restricted the instructions more clearly. In the United States, direct eye contact but not staring is considered desirable when two people converse. A person such type of the facial expression, with this facial expression the person can communicate. And the last point in this section is of the gestures, postures and movement. In some occupations, action speaks louder than words. Employees who direct traffic in crowd streets or in noisy stadium, or would guide trucks when backing up in narrow place, effectively communicate by pointing arms or fingers or by tapping on the side of the vehicle to indicate the desired direction. Deaf person communicate with a language primarily composed of hands, fingers and eye movements. Gestures and movements are culture specific. Meaning of gesture in the United States may be completely different in Europe or Asia. In the United States, a clenched fist pounding on the table can indicate either anger or emphasize. Such a display in Asia would be unacceptable. Continual gesture and movement such as pacing back and forth may signal nervousness and may be distracting to listen. Handshakes reveals attitude and sometimes handcaps by their firmness or limpness. Such type of the points here are related to the gestures. With this I conclude. Thereafter the next part or the next chapter, that is the types of communication and barriers of communication. Types of the communication, two types you know very well, verbal and non-verbal, and some of the barriers are there in the communication. We will see in the next part. Okay, thank you, good day.